Skeindeer. My name is Ellie and I am a Norwegian living and knitting in London, and you can find me as Skeindeer on Ravelry and Instagram, and there is also the Ravelry group Skeindeer Knits. There is currently a KAL going on there. I'm not going to talk much about it this episode, but you can head over there and have a look, or go to previous episodes and have a listen about that. This episode is mainly going to cover my visit to Edinburgh and Edinburgh Yarn Festival. So in advance I just want to apologise for those of you who didn't go and find it a bit tiring to listen to an event that you did not attend. So maybe this episode is not for you, but if you want to hear about Edinburgh, which you know I've gathered that a lot of people want to hear about, then stay tuned. I have a shopping problem. I want to preface this video by saying that you should not aspire to this kind of insane yarn shopping that I have done during Edinburgh. So I'm gonna kind of just go through everything chronologically, so it's not gonna follow the usual format that I do here. Not that I actually have a format that I stick to, but you know what I mean. So yarn's gonna just pop out throughout, and yeah, I just wanna... Don't feel like this is how much you should buy when you're at a yarn event. It is not. Nobody should buy as much as I did now. It's not right. I don't have the finances to. I mean, I have savings, so I mean, a lot of podcasts can become very focused on, you know, the yarn acquisitions, and people who don't have that kind of, say, finances maybe feel bad for not being able to, and I just want to tell you, please don't feel bad. I feel bad for having bought this much. This is not an example to follow, but I know a lot of people have asked to see my stash haul, my acquisitions, so I will go through it. I have toyed with the idea of maybe just not telling you, but I did promise to show you the yarn before I purchased it, so better stick to it. So before I went to Edinburgh, I got this lovely skein in the mail, and it's from the local yarn club of a homespun house, which I am always gushing about. So if you don't want to see the skein, I am going to pick it up now, so just look away. I will try to remember to tell you when to come back. So this is the skein I got in the mail just before I went to Edinburgh. And so for those of you who don't know, the local yarn club is basically focused around the particular base that Molly of a Homespun House has sourced from Germany. So this is a very crunchy rustic yarn. It is actually a merino, because German merino is just special. I love this. I absolutely do. I think this is a completely different, I mean, it is a completely different shade than the first skein. So folding that up as well, you can compare. And they actually go really well together. And I love how this yarn takes to dye in a completely different way than, you know, your usual yarn base that dyers use. And that's kind of why I'm always gushing about this yarn club. I am not at all sponsored. I have paid for this yarn club. I have never been encouraged by Molly to gush about it as much as I do. I just really love that finally a very, you know, popular dyer is using this kind of base. I want to see more of this. If I was a dyer, this is the kind of base I would focus on and try to get out there, because it's something new and it's very interesting. So I just, this is going to be color work. I just know it. Maybe it will be color work together. Maybe I'll manage to put it into a sweater if I can find more similar yarn to work with it. We shall see. So Edinburgh, yeah, let's start from Wednesday. I went up to Edinburgh on Wednesday, a bit earlier than most people. I just woke up in this kind of horror that I missed my alarm and my train, and it was 7 in the morning, so that was fine. The train was not going to depart King's Cross until 10, so I was there in... I had plenty of time, and I got both seats. I don't know why Virgin Trains think that me wanting window seats means that I shouldn't get window seats, because I didn't get it either way, but the person sitting next to me never showed either direction, so I had the window seat and the seat next to me, and I was like, oh yeah, trains. And I'm so happy I took the train rather than the plane, because there's no hassle of getting back and forth to the station. When I'd arrived in Edinburgh, I was in Edinburgh Centre, and I managed to do a lot of work on my cardigan, which I was really hoping to finish in time for the festival. Unfortunately, I didn't, but I got quite far. So I just want to insert my first vlog in Edinburgh, so my vlog didn't really become very consistent, which is why I'm kind of popping it into this episode. So I'm in Edinburgh. I was kind of hoping to start vlogging this when I was home, when I was in King's Cross, maybe I was on the train, but I'm a bit too shy, and yeah. So I'm in Edinburgh, and the wind is so vicious here, and the sun, I can't even look at you. Oh, there you are. That's nice. So train literally just dropped me off. And wait, as well. And I have no plan. So I'm just walking about now. I just walked into this crazy majestic view. So yeah, that's kind of the plan for today. I'm just going to walk around, find some yarn shops and other shops, and yeah, see you later. So yeah, after filming this episode, I just wandered around to different yarn shops carrying my massively suitcase. I was gonna say heavy, but it wasn't that heavy before the yarn purchases, but it was still kind of annoying to drag around. But anyway, I went to Ginger Twist Studios, which was lovely, super cute and tiny shop. I was very close to buying something, but I managed to control myself. And then I went to Kathy's Knits, which is a shop where it's really hard to control yourself. It's just full of Shetland yarn goodness, lots of rustic wools, and Kathy is a true enabler and makes you really, like, tells you about how exclusive a lot of the colours are and the bases are, and oh, I just love that shop. Definitely something I will come back to, and I did. And I also went to Macquarie Brothers, which is the one shop I've been to previously where they do Regia yarn, and I was very close to buying a lot of the yarns, but actually didn't. In hindsight, I maybe wish I bought 1 or 2 skeins, maybe grey, just to have something to mix up with the yarns that I have for socks. But there will be another occasion, and I could always order online. One thing I knew I wanted as soon as I saw it, and that was on my purchase list for Edinburgh, was this. So this is a Shetlandist Fair Isle graph book, and that's exactly what it is. If you open it, it's just the pictures someone has coloured in from their graph book from Shetland. And we're not entirely sure who it is. So it might have been this fella, but we don't really know. So just full of this stuff, and I love it so much. It's such a piece of art, and I'm so happy someone decided to save this and publish it. Oh look, oh, there's just so, I just showed you that page, didn't I? It's just, this book must have if you are a lover of colour work and Fair Isle. Oh yes, I got it, it's mine. So I love this, what they're doing on the front page actually. You can see, sorry, my voice is completely dead. I've been talking so much during this week. I hope you can forgive me. But yeah, you can see you can see here how it knits up relative to the chart. So basically a nice way to see that it knits up the way it looks, which is good because most of them are not displayed that way. So and I also got a higher cable, because you could always use more cables once you've started a new interchangeable kit. And so after my little tour of Edinburgh and having a little stay in a cafe, I took the bus into Balerno, which is where a friend of mine, Susan, lives, where I was fortunate to stay during the 2 days before the festival. The 2 days during the festival, I was staying in an Airbnb house centrally in Edinburgh with some of the regular Loop Knit Night knitters. But yeah, I took the bus to Balerno, where Susan lives, and it was just such a lovely place. And she has a dog, she's super cute. So yeah, a little vlog from the morning there. So I kind of failed at vlogging yesterday. Managed to walk around half, if not all of Edinburgh with my big suitcase. Because of course I brought a big suitcase to bring lots of yarn. So now I'm in Balerno, I think it's pronounced, and I'm ready to take on another day. So yesterday I managed to... Am I in focus today at all? I don't know. You guys tell me. So I managed to visit 3 yarn shops yesterday, and I didn't buy any yarn. I did buy a book, which I will cover in my haul, and I bought another cable for my high needles, as you do. But I didn't buy any yarn. I did want to get some Regia from Macquarie Brothers, but I didn't. They didn't quite have the colours I wanted. They did have some nice greys, so I might come back for that later. And oh, it's so pretty. Look around. Ah, Scottish suburb, countryside-ish. It's very comparable to where I'm from, really. I'm kind of from the fusion between the countryside and the suburbs. So yes, my favourite of the shops that I went to, although I really did like Ginger Twist Studios, I think my favorite was Kathy's Nets. That was a really cool shop. Very big Shetland focus, which of course we know I love. So I am heading for the bus into Edinburgh for Thursday. And today I'm just going to do some general shopping and browsing of the city and eventually go to the knit night that Edinburgh Yarn Festival is setting up. And tomorrow it's on. I feel like a weirdo talking to myself here. Even more so than when doing it in the middle of the city, go figure. So yeah, hopefully I can figure out the bus app this time around because it's a bit weird. But yeah, I think I'm going to tune out now and I will speak to you later. Bye. So I honestly can't remember what I did the day before the actual knit night, during the day before the evening. I went to some clothing shops. I got some H&M clothes, which I could have done anywhere, but I just don't like shopping in London. And eventually I'd taken the bus up to Be Inspired Fibres or Studios or something, where they have another yarn shop, but it was closed of course for the festival, so I didn't make it. And I realized I had to get to the knit night. It was going to start at 4 and I was like, oh my god, where is it? And it turns out it was just down the road. It took me 15 to 20 minutes to walk there. And yeah, first thing that happens when I walk in is that I see Patricia from the P4 Chen Knitography podcast, and she shares my love of Norwegian knitting and Selbu mittens, so that was really cool. So I just had to sit down there, and lots of people I knew and didn't know flocked around, and it was just so pleasant. I had so much fun there. I managed to do some progress on my cardigan, which I will show you in a bit. But yeah, the first thing I see is like someone knitting my pattern. I thought she was just like, oh look, we're knitting set to start, both of us. That's the chart I was using in my cardigan. Apparently no, she was knitting my potholder pattern, and apparently I had advised her to start with that during colour work, so that was super cool. I was not aware. So I forgot your name, I'm so sorry. I'm sure you told me, but yeah, that was so cool. It's such a confidence boost seeing your pattern being knit up, just a random like that. But yeah, there were so many people that I knew or recognised at the knit night. I mean, eventually Grace from Babbling Travelling Yarns showed up, and Shamika of the Mika Mika podcast, and they were lots of fun. And there were of course Nathan of Sock Mortician, Vera of Along the Lanes, and Katie of Vincent number 23. And it was just super nice to meet everybody. Everybody were as nice, as lovely as expected. And I eventually got up the courage to streak my cardigan, and I just decided I have to do it here, and I have to do it now before the sun sets. So I had to kind of disrupt Grace while chatting to Katie. And so Grace just introduced me to Katie and was like, oh, Sally is Skeindeer, and Katie's like, oh my god, you're Skeindeer, and I'm like, oh my god, you know who I am? And she just hugged me, and I'm like, seriously, you know who I am? I am pathetic. Anyway, super lovely. So Grace eventually grabbed my camera, filmed my steaking, so I'm gonna put that here for you. It is not a tutorial, it's just like me being fun and crazy doing this out in public and under poor lighting, and it worked out fine. Enjoy.
Are you ready? You're gonna flip it? Okay. No. Is this a recording? Just like that?
Oh yes, recording.
Yeah, okay, good.
I've just done it on a little swatch.
It's weird.
Obviously you can't.
And up here.
I'm ready to do it.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. But I just don't
do
really
it.
knit that kind of cardigan. Like kind of work? Yeah. But you can do it.
Is the scissors okay? Yeah, they're not ideal.
Yeah, it just saves time.
They work. Okay, I don't know where I'm cutting now.
Watch the knitting expert. She is, yeah. Every time she knits a cardigan, whatever the goes with, she knits it like a sweater and she sticks it. Oh, okay.
This is the worst speaking job ever. But you know what? It's all going to be wrapped up into my button bands, so I don't really care. So I keep like missing where the V's are.
I know. It's tricky to get right in between that one stitch.
I know people put in seams, but I'm too lazy. And look, it's not going anywhere.
No, it's not going anywhere.
I love
That's
this.
really wow.
Yeah, I love this kind of yarn.
It's stressing me out that you're pulling it so hard.
Oh, really?
Don't do it!
It doesn't do anything.
Oh my god,
Okay, I'll go
you're scaring the life out of me right now.
Okay, where's the cutting?
Your nails are lovely, by the way.
Thank you, it's my favorite color.
Very nice.
Although I can't like hit my nails ever.
That's okay.
This is like the best I've ever done actually. Saying
Speaking, it's very busy.
I'm like cutting across and everything now. It's awful.
People that sleep in the dark.
I know. This is lit. This is backlit, essentially. This is the danger table. Danger table. Danger table. Danger
Okay, I need to
table.
decide what direction I'm cutting now, because it's gonna be a bit. Because this is where I'm like changing from top down and bottom
I
up and
see.
whatever. So.
All right, so they're knit both directions, right?
Yeah, but now I'm gonna choose this lane.
Did you make it any more difficult on yourself? I can't believe you're almost finished. This is 2 years in the making, isn't it?
Well, I started knitting it 1 month in 2015, and then now I'm just picking it up again.
Oh my goodness.
Can you see this? I'm like holding it so that I can see it. That's not very
Yeah, I can see it.
There's more steek on this side now. This is bad. What am I doing? I can't even. See, I should hold it flat and have something white under, but that's just cheating, right?
I'm sorry, if you're going to do it in a pub, you got to do it blind.
So this is where it's annoying because it's double folded.
Oh, you've got to do it twice?
Yeah, I just have to go around now. This is going to be even worse because there's no color work to guide me. Actually, it's better.
Oh yeah, because you can see straight up.
I have to cut across this one.
Is it okay? Is it okay?
It's alright.
I don't know.
So what are you going to do to the snake stitches? Do you tack them down? Do
So
you
this
do
is
a
the
ribbon?
plan, right? I'm rolling this over.
Oh, so you catch it all in it?
Let's see now. So it's gonna just naturally fold over here.
Yeah, and then you tack
I have
that down.
buttonholes on both sides, so they're gonna be sewn together.
Beautiful.
And then I'm just gonna knit a bit further so that I can overlap.
Yeah.
And they'll be hidden. And
That's a
hopefully
really clever idea.
secure.
Because I see people who sew in ribbons and things to cover it, and I'm like, oh, that's, I don't know that I can be bothered.
No, that's a really good idea, actually.
Yeah.
Also, you've done...
What's my idea?
Oh, you're so great! So you've done a whole line down the centre of the button band of yarn overs, and that's where it's going to fall over, is that
Shall we
right?
see if it fits?
Yes, please! What's the point of doing it if you can't try it on? Woohoo! Live steeking!
You size is smaller when I cast this on 2 years ago.
Oh yeah!
It is a pattern, but I've improvised a lot because I didn't like all of it.
Yay! Are you proud?
I'll be proud when it's done. Is what
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
Yeah.
But you have steeked. Therefore, you are the queen. Yay!
Now I'm sad to say I haven't made that much progress on my cardigan since, because it turns out it's quite difficult to sew the steeking bands, the thing that I'm wrapping up my steeks with, sewing them on, making sure they don't get skewed. I have to put in a lot of stitch markers, I'm sure, and make sure it's aligned. I didn't have the mind to do that anytime during this week away from home, so for now this is what we have, and I'm going to show you because it's still super lovely, as hopefully you managed to see in the vlog as well. So it is steeked, it is a lovely cropped, not too fitted, but still fits relatively nicely. And the only thing it's lacking now is this to be sewn on here, and then I will pick up the neckband over this button edge here, knit that back and forth and fold that over as well so that it will match the rest of the cardigan, and it will be good to go. Most of the ends are already weaved in and a lot of things are a bit spiced, so yeah, I can wear this soon. How cool is that? I'm sorry I'm showing you this in a terrible way, but that's just what we're gonna have to deal with because it's on the needles. It doesn't look very nice when it's on the needles still. It will hopefully probably be done by next episode, and I will show you then. So yeah, that was the knit night. It was super fun. I could go on and on about how much fun it was and how much I enjoyed it, which is not something I can usually say about a late night out. So thanks to everybody who made it really enjoyable and made me feel so welcomed. It was everything I could have hoped for. So eventually it was the day of the festival. It was Friday and me and Susan went over to the festival, and the first thing we see is a queue. And we're being told that this is the queue for the people who don't have tickets. We have to go on to the other side. We're like, okay, cool, we don't have to queue. Oh, we had to queue. There was a queue there and it was around half the building. It was so long and I was like, oh no, might as well pick up my knitting. Fortunately I didn't, because the queue was really quick. As soon as they opened the door, they just let people in. It was super quick and pleasant, and really just want to applaud the people of the Corner Exchange in Edinburgh for just having a very pleasant experience of using their accommodation. So the first thing I do, being unsensible, is running to La Bien-Aimée, because I had some skeins in mind and I don't want to risk them disappearing first thing first, because of all the yarns I want, those were really the ones I think will be difficult to get your hand on. I think the other yarns I prefer maybe aren't that much hyped with others, so I got these lovely babies. And I don't know what I'm doing, buying more La Bien-Aimée. I still have the La Bien-Aimée yarn in my fade shawl that's just going to be used for something good. But wouldn't that be awesome with these skeins? It would just work out so nicely. So this is already a fade. I could use this in the fade. I could make another snow melt shawl in these, because that was a really pleasant knit. But you know me, I prefer doing different things. I don't usually knit the same pattern twice, sometimes. So this is a lovely brown skein, and it's not actually the same brown that I've had before. That was undergrowth, and this is loam, whatever that is. So I love how they do brown. Nobody gets me this crazy over brown yarn as La Bien-Aimée. It's not quite my kind of base, but I managed to work with it. With this shawl I was definitely happy with what I got. So it's not going to be a favorite of mine, but it really takes to dye really nicely and makes La Bien-Aimée's colors show up beautifully. I know they have BFL yarns, but it just looks a tiny bit nicer here, even though I prefer BFL to merino. So this one I wanted since I saw them at Pom Pom's, the Christmas party they had, and I didn't buy it then, so I bought it now, and it's just delicious. Oh, they will all be used together on something nice, I'm sure. And this is basically something in between the two colors I used in my fade. They were a bit too much of an abrupt change between the two colors. So if I ever end up using them on something else, the cream color with some speckles of gold could go here, this could go in between, and then I can go to either brown or the full-on gold. There are options. The options are many. So let's just have a look at these again before I put them away, because these are by far the best colors I got at the festival, and I got them right away. Better safe than sorry. And La Bien-Aimée got a picture of me in my shawl, which was super cool, and they posted it on Instagram. Maybe I'll remember to put it here, maybe not. Yeah, this is also knit in their yarn, by the way, in case you're new and you don't know. So I now have very good experience with the yarn. I initially did not, because single ply merino and me, we are strangers, so I just need to figure out how to work with it, and yeah, I think I got the hang of it now, and it's so pretty. So already we are onto some crazy expenses, but I will say I did calm down at the Kate Davies booth, of all booths. I mean, I love Kate Davies, as you saw in my last episode, but I'm not insane about her yarn. I mean, I really appreciate what it is. It's very ethical, and it's pure wool, and it's rustic. It is worsted spun, which doesn't get me too excited, but it's really nice. I wish it was lighter though, that's my main issue. It has the same-ish meterage as the Jameson Smith 2-ply jumper weight that she used to use for all her jumpers, and now she's kind of using this instead, but using them very much in the same way. And I don't think it's that comparable, because it's twice as heavy, and that's kind of why I don't want to work with it. If it was lighter, if it was more comparable with Jameson Smith, I'd be all over it, but unfortunately I didn't buy any. Maybe I should have just bought one skein, but yeah. I got some patterns instead. So got this one, and I kind of wish I got the braided heels, you know, the pink cardigan as well, but for now I have this and I love it. I really want a red cardigan, so maybe this will be it. I mean, of course I could make any cardigan red. I choose the colors, but this just speaks to me, and it's just simple enough that I think I could make this on a day where I'm maybe not up for something, you know, with lots of cables and color work and lace and what have you. And I got inspired by Islay. Don't know if that's how you say it, but that's what I got. This is her latest booklet. People who have been subscribed to this as like a club will already have seen the patterns. I'm just going to show you a nice little selection. So there's this amazing vest, classic Shetland vest, and maybe one day I will make one of those, but I think if I do, it will have sleeves, because whilst I can get really warm as soon as I'm in some motion, if I'm gonna wear it, it will be because I'm cold, and if I'm cold, it will be, I will need long sleeves. So there you go. Ooh, and I'm really itching to cast this on. When I saw it, I was like, oh, it's so nice and big, it's like proper hap. But then Kate Davis is actually quite small compared to me, I realised, so maybe this isn't that big. So I might try her Mother Dye. I'll get back to that. But yeah, basically it's just full of Scottish goodness, you know, inspired by Islay, as they say, and I'm so happy I have it. And I am, even if I don't need anything from it, I am a compulsive Kate Davis pattern hoarder, so it's good to have, isn't it? So this was still planned now. I walked over to Jameson's of Shetland, and I'd mentioned before I'd like to get the ultra yarn for the Ursula cardigan by Kate Davis. You're supposed to use Jameson Smith's 2-ply jumper weight, but I wanted something lighter, and the meterage of Jameson's Ultra is so impressive, so I got that. So these are the amounts of grey yarns required, and the meterage, I mean, I've told you, drop on. I told you before, 194 meters. That's so impressive for a 25 grams gain. And forgive me, I'm going to put these down now, but you get the idea. So, I mean, for those of you who haven't seen it up close before, let me just show you. It just looks like any other 2-ply yarn to me. It's a bit finer, obviously, but I'm totally confident this was knit up to a beautiful fabric at the 30 stitch gauge, which the cardigan is. So I don't think it's going to be all lace, even though it is a lace weight. I hope, I think. So got this, and I got some contrast colors, some green and blue. I was hoping to find some purple, but what they had was more of a, I guess, kind of a violet. I wasn't really into that. I wanted a dark purple, so I was going to just have a look around for that, and I will let you know what I ended up with in a bit. But I'm just doing this chronologically now. So here's a close-up of this delicious yarn, and my next drop, I think, was Tuki wool, which is a delicious Finnish yarn. I say that because it's very similar to Norwegian yarn. So I got 4 skeins of theirs that I am probably gonna just shove into some mitten. So here we are, grey, white and red. I'm not shocking anyone, am I? So I think these will be paired together. I think grey and red is just a fantastic combination, and this red is a bit, I guess, rusty looking than your usual red, which is what I have here. So these will be more of a stark contrast. So we already have 2 pairs of mittens here, and I am so happy I got these. It's such a delicious yarn. I will say it's probably softer than your usual rustic yarn. Don't know if it's softer than Norwegian yarn, but one of the people I shared house with in the Live at Night Airbnb house share, she'd made a sample of this just overnight, and yeah, it felt really soft. She hadn't soaked or blocked it or anything. She just done a sample just to test out the colors, and yeah, I think this will be so amazing. And if I'm happy with these mittens, maybe we could do a garment sometime. And so I tried to have a round of just looking now, because I'd been to the places I had planned that I was sure I was gonna get something. And what really amazes me, actually, I didn't get anything from maybe my top 3 favorites, which were Troll wool, because they didn't really bring the wools I was looking forward to seeing. Midwinter yarns, because I already have 2 skeins of wool centrums, so I don't see why I should get more just yet. and JC Rennie. Actually didn't get any yarns from them, but I did get something, so I will show you. Well, technically I did. Well, I went to Old Maid Nantes is what I'm trying to say. I wasn't that strong and able to just peruse the festival and not buying anything until I decided what to narrow it down to. But when Old Maid Nantes had this colour, you know me and this colour. So this is Corriedale Sport Weight. So the meters is, doesn't say, 380 yards, so whoever knows the meters of that, let me know. But yes, very typical sport weight meter edge. And this colour, so she had, I think, 2 skeins left with this colour. Should have gone there earlier. It would have been an amazing cardigan had I just gotten another skein, or maybe 4. I think 4 is safe for me. I like a bit of positive ease. So I got this. So we're probably looking to another mittens, another pair of mittens. Or maybe a shawl. This is delightfully soft for rustic yarn, I think. It's warm and I love it. Corriedale, I think we will see each other again, you know, when I knitted up this pile that I have on my bed now. I shouldn't be buying much yet, but Corriedale's colorways are Aniseed and the white hare. I'm sure we can guess which is which. So I want to give you a close-up of this because it's not really showing up right when the colors are, when the light is what it's like right now. So yeah, look at that. Oh, I love this so much. I can't even tell you. So I wish I'd bought the second one that was there, because as soon as I went back there a minute later, it was gone. But yeah, it's good to have bought. Now I know what to get from Old Maid Nantes the next time I am either about to order or about to go somewhere she is vending. So yay! Now I had a bit of a break. I decided to go into the podcast lounge for a little bit of a lunch break, and it was just full of lovely people. What do you expect? So I was fortunate to have a sit down with Grace of Traveling Babbles Yarn and Babbles Traveling Yarn. Oh my god, it's not that difficult. And Vera of Along the Lanes and Katie of Inside Number 23, and everybody was just super lovely. And I flashed one of the things I had just purchased, and I actually haven't shown you yet, so I'm gonna do that now. Because I bought some shade cards at Jameson, and you should be able to see those on, I think, Vero's video whenever that comes up. I am super happy to see that she's coming back to podcasting again. I just had to like gush over her for a little bit and just tell her that she was basically the first video podcaster of knitting I'd ever seen. I didn't think there were anybody doing it besides her. Although there were a few. There were certainly not as many as there are now, but I didn't know this was a thing. I just thought she did it until one episode she mentioned that there were others, and I was like, there are others? This is a thing? So yeah, I flashed my shade cards and I will show you as well. I also got this Shetland Woolby cat. This is the newest hat. So yeah, I got shade card from Ultra. And I love what they've done. I love that they've actually knitted it so you can feel the fabric. And here I can see it's totally gonna knit up just fine. I mean, I haven't done the gauge of this, but it's just great. And look at all these colors. Oh, I should have gotten pecan pie. I really like that one. But there will be time. I don't think Ultra's going to be discontinued anytime soon, you know. So that was that. And I got a shade card for Spindrift. And if you don't know about Spindrift, you can actually get that at Loop in London. And you can order from Loop in London. I'm sure you could order from Jameson's as well. But just so you know. So it opens up like this. And you can see all the natural colours here. And when I open up this, there are just so many colors, and I can totally understand why they didn't knit up these, because that would probably take forever. I mean, even though machines are probably doing it. I mean, look at all these colors. And there's just this little corner down here. Everything is amazing. Oh, this page as well. I just love everything here, and I love that I have this so I can actually make decisions on colors and fibers from home. I don't feel like I need to buy everything of Jameson's when I have this. So it's actually a really nice stash busting idea, kind of. I mean, it's like a proactive stash busting idea, because you don't feel like you have to buy the skeins that you really like when you don't have plans for it. You can just get this and have a feel for the colors and the yarn when you know what you're going to make of it, and then you can make an order because you already know what it's going to look like. It's not one of those Mr. Internet orders where the color turns out to be completely different. And Jameson's is generally very consistent with their dyeing, so yay! So yeah, I had an absolute ball at the podcasting lounge, and it was really cool as well to meet Helen of Curious Handmade again. So I managed to show off my shawl that I made of her pattern, and I did the same yarn choice that she had done. So we were basically wearing the same shawl, which is super cool. And I got to actually compare it with hers, and mine looks just right. I knit to gauge. My shawl turned out as it was supposed to. No wonder I'm happy with it. So yeah, super nice. And I also had the fortune to meet Dana, who I have been yarn swapping with twice, and it's always been such a pleasure because Dana just spoils me. Every time I say, okay, I can't, I only have so much, you know, money and access to Norwegian yarn, so you know, this is what I have, and then she gives me the world in yarn. So super nice to meet you, Dana. And I'm sorry we didn't get time to hang out more. I was really hoping to, but I have to admit, I was really overwhelmed by the whole festival. I had been warned that I was going to be overwhelmed, but wow, was I overwhelmed. It was a nice kind of exhausting excitement kind of thing, but yeah, I was definitely kind of half present, half And also Laurie of Intuit Knit podcast gave me this amazing shawl pen, that one, which has the name of a podcast on it, which is so clever. It is so clever, so thank you so much, Laurie. So then me and Grace and Katie left the podcast lounge for the market for a little bit, just to have a look at Travel Knitter's yarn. So Travel Knitter is actually a dyer that's local to me, and she works Sundays in a shop that's local to me, and so I feel like I kind of know her vaguely well, even though I met her like 3 times. So Katie ran off with all the lovely burgundy skeins. Those of purple burgundy was really my color, but it's fair because I wanted this red, because this red is so me. This is my red. If there was any doubt, what red is my red? I mean, also like rusty looking burgundy reds, but this red is like, oh. And if you could feel this yarn, it is so soft. It's the softest yarn I've felt. Yeah, there's no, it is actually the softest, because it's 50% baby camel and 50% silk. So I was initially gonna mix that with the yarn I got from Kettle Yarn, which is a, what is it, a mix between yak silk and superwash merino. But in hindsight, I think I might wait it out until I come across her. This is the Bayul, by the way. So I think I'm going to wait until I come across her sort of cherry coloured yarn of the same base instead of mixing these, so I can get the full experience of the softness of this. I mean, this is still really soft, but I don't want to sort of mix it with this so I get a less softer experience when this is as soft as it gets. So I think this would be a nice single skein shawl, probably, maybe a cowl with some lace, I don't know, haven't decided. But when I got to see Kristen's Wildersmere shawl in person, I was like, yeah. But then again, I also got to see Vero's shawl knitted in this yarn that she knitted a while ago, and how well it held up. It's probably the silk doing it, and camel is a long haired fibre, so not that prone to pilling actually. So that put together just made me feel like I want this to stand on its own. So here's a little close-up for you. And it has 400 meters, which is ideal for 100 gram skein in my opinion. And yeah, so Kettle Yarn, I think it also has, no, it's 366 meters, it's a bit denser. So I just love it. I just love that I managed to find one of her neutral bases, because I've actually struggled with finding this one. I've struggled to find the red one as well. I forgot what the colorway is, but when I see it, I will get it. And I know there are 2 local shops to me that stock her yarns, so if I don't get it from a web shop, there's always that. So these are my sort of, I support my London dyers purchases. And I also got some Chagoos from Pearl Essence, just to complete my 9-inch series. So this is size 4mm, 4.5mm and 5mm, because when I'm going for 9-inch circulars, Chagoos is the only one for me. They're the only ones who can do it right. Probably because they're not actually 9-inch, but they're lovely to knit with, and I don't have any complaints about them. And as some of you might know, John Arbon was at Edinburgh Yarn Festival, and this is the 3rd time I'm at a yarn event that has John Arbon yarns. And previously I've actually not bought anything from there. It's like I have ordered their shade cards online, so I have the Knit by Numbers shade cards and Harvest Shoes. What I end up getting, I thought I was gonna get the 4 plies of the Knit by Numbers, but I ended up getting Viola, which is a DK base. It is very similar to the DK base of the Knit by Numbers, but it feels a bit sturdier, I think. There's less fluff. Still a bit of fluff. So I got 4 skeins of this amazing burgundy plum kind of Viola. Look at this color, it's my color. Sorry, I am cold and I'm sane-ish. So there's that. Look at that. Oh, I love this. So, sweater quantities, eh? It's gonna be a delicious cardigan, I imagine, or something like that. If you want to know some specifications here, it has 250 meters per 100 grams, which I think is pretty good for DK. Yeah, 100% merino. I don't think this is a superwash, which is even better. So yeah, it's the Viola logo for anyone who is curious. And super happy to snag the last 4 skeins of that. I was really close to getting a similar colorway from the 4-ply Knit by Numbers, but I eventually didn't because it was a bit too pale for my taste, which was surprising because when I looked at the shade card I thought it was just up my alley. But now I think whenever I go for Knit by Numbers I might go for the darkest foresty green. I really like that color, but not anytime soon because there's a lot of yarn here still. So last thing I did was going to the Knitting Goddess, and yeah, she's a good enabler. Oh my god. So she had this amazing BFL Masham base that I love. I already have some of that dyed by Countess Ablaze, and she had this amazing grey black. Sorry, there's a helicopter outside. I can't make it go away. I don't have that kind of power. So look at that. Look at that. And do you think I just got one? No. So here you go. This is enough for another garment. I did say I was going to buy sweater quantities because I am very much a garment knitter. And they take, like, you buy a lot of yarn, but you also just need one project to knit it. And they're often very quick actually. When I find a sweater mojo, I'm in it. So I just love this. Play with the shades here. Just give you some specs as well. 70% British BFL, 25% British Masham. This is a 4-ply, 400 delicious meters. And I will say, Knitting Goddess, really reasonably priced. It says £16 on this label. That's pretty good for 100 gram skein in my opinion. That's hand dyed. So would definitely recommend. And I also got this because I thought maybe actually this would work for color work. I did ask her if she thought it would be because it's not very sticky. This is crazy soft and scrumptious, and she basically said what I was thinking, that no, it's not sticky, but it's just so fluffy, just kind of blooms and just kind of fills all the gaps that way. So yeah, this should give you a better idea of the fibre because it's not dyed and it has this little pink companion. I don't know what the idea of this is because usually when people do this it's for socks. This is not sock yarn at all. So yeah, I think we could have some nice color work going on here. Maybe a very weird looking Marius. Although really I should have a look at other things than a Marius because it's getting a bit boring, isn't it? Well, I'm happy to say this was the only thing I purchased on day 1. Yeah, there was more, but for now this is what I did at day 1. I managed to go to the Airbnb house and it was the most bizarre house I have ever stayed in. I didn't actually get any time to document it because it was mostly full of people and who may or may not want to be on this podcast, so I didn't. But it was just so weird. It was like some kind of weird, like, colonial great grandma's house with like little bits and bobs from everywhere in the world that Britain has sort of been poking into. And the sofa bench in the hallway by the entrance, there was a big stuffed tiger toy. Why? It was so eclectic and weird. It was really weird, and some people was like, no, it's made this way on purpose. Nobody's been traveling this much and getting all these things. And I was like, actually, I don't know. I think this might have been the house of someone really eccentric. But yeah, after a bit of relaxing, I realized I was a bit late for the ceilidh that I was going to. So I didn't go to the ceilidh. I went to the ceilidh that Grace of Babbling Traveling Yarns. Oh, is it Babbles Traveling Yarns? Why can't I remember this? Anyway, she'd organized it, had invited I think 30 knitters from the festival, and the food was amazing, and it was so nice to meet so many people. And as for the dancing, I mean, Andrea and Andrea, Fruity Knitting, and Tilly Trout just killed it. They've done this before, I'm sure. So it's a lot of fun watching. And there were a lot of podcasters there that I had the fortune to meet. I finally got to say a proper hello to Carola of Amber Fox 84 podcast, and Selma of Two Tangled Skein podcast, and Kristen of Wollonvine and her husband Dennis. So yeah, just a bunch of really lovely people, and I felt so comfortable in their company and I had so much fun. And a lot of the people who I had mentioned earlier, like Patricia and Shamika, were also there. And oh, I'm gonna forget to mention people I probably have from the knit night as well, and I'm really sorry. I just want to mention the people I met because they were so lovely, and if there's someone I've forgotten, it doesn't mean I've forgotten you, it just means that I'm still not really sewn down after the whole week. I'm still kind of up there, and just arrived last night, so bear with me. I just like crash landed into my bed, and oh, you guys, I feel like I have a hangover. I didn't drink, but I'm just like, so it was day 2. And I just ran into Asta and got my food and ran into the festival and went to the Blacker stand in the Blacker podcast lounge and got St. Kilda, which is a delicious lace yarn. I wasn't super keen on all the colors, and I was thinking of going with this and a brown, but then I was like, Ellie, you've gotten so many yarns that are just within your color scheme. Like the most outrageous skein you got was that little pink mini. Seriously. So got this. And I have some mittens in mind for this. It does say lace, but you know, when it's a pure wool lace, you can still use it as a fingering weight often. And it has 700 meters for each 100 gram skein, which makes me very excited. So I just, oh, and it's a mix. Oh, it's not a mix. It's 100% pure new wool, which is just makes my heart sing and makes me happy. And it says limited edition, so happy to have some like these. Should give you a close-up of the fiber and the colors. I don't know if we qualify this as focus or not, but that will do. And I knew I'd be going back to Tuka wool. I just love the yarn, and what I love is this. So this is another foreskin I got, and this is their sock yarn, because they do rustic wools with nylon, which is making me insane. And I probably rambled about this to just about everybody, because nobody does this as far as I'm aware. And somebody asked me this recently on my podcast, you know, we keep talking about pure wools, Ellie, but what do you do with socks? Because they should have nylon, and you have to kind of opt for superwash then, because that's what exists. Well, finished Tuka wools have a rustic yarns non-superwash pure wool with nylon, and it's just the best thing ever. I mean, it does compromise a bit on the meterage. It has 160 meters for a 50 gram skein. I personally prefer like 200 meters, maybe 210, but you know what, can't complain. And I think if you want to be traditional, I think this is maybe more true to tradition. So it's a 80% finished wool, 20% nylon. I got these 4 lovely colors, and I'm so crazy about these. I'm finally going to be able to knit up some fairly authentic colorwork socks where I don't have to compromise on the fiber and superwash. So I'm probably going to pair it up as a black and white and a red and grey. You know, my red and grey. So yeah, I could go on and on about this. Tuka wool, probably my favorite of the entire festival. And I said I didn't get anything of JC Rennie because it was just so difficult for me to narrow it down. So I got their shade card, because as I said, if you feel like you should buy some yarn but you feel like also you shouldn't, get the shade card. You can buy it later. You don't need to have the yarn in front of you, because you have this amazingness. And again, it's a deliciously knitted up shade card. We can feel how the fiber knits up as well as seeing the colors. And will you look at all these delicious, delicious colors? Look at them! Oh, okay. I'll be calm. It's just a shade card. but this gets me actually more excited than the Jameson shade cards. Not the cheapest, but I'm totally happy with it. And it does also specify whether this is available on their super soft lamb's wool or their Shetland yarn, so it just has everything. They've managed to get both of the bases in a way. Then yeah, I am very happy I got this. Cost a bit of extra, but yeah, I could not have gone home without this. And so I was feeling a bit bad for not having been, you know, buying anything from Skeindeer, because I really like Skeindeer and they have these buckets of really good deals, but I didn't go there. And I knew I was looking for yarn for my chuck sweater, and I don't know if I'm happy with this yarn for my chuck sweater, but I'm really happy with buying this yarn yet nonetheless. So it's probably gonna go into my chuck and we'll see how I feel. So I got these lovely red skeins, and the reason why I'm being a bit hesitant now is actually it is a bit heavy. It does 190 meters for 100 gram skein. I was hoping for getting something that has more than 200 meters per 100 gram skein, because, you know, I don't like too heavy jumpers, but actually 190, I mean, we're talking just a few 10 meters here and there. I think I'll be fine. So this might just be my lovely red chuck, and this is their, I think, 100% merino Aran weight, pure merino lamb's wool. So I don't think we have any superwash nonsense here, which makes me happy, especially when knitting merino, because it can already be quite slick. But that's the thing about Skeindeer, their fibers never feel as you would expect. It always has a very matte feel to it, so you wouldn't guess that this was merino, but it's certainly soft, but it's soft in a way you find cotton to be. It's really strange. I think, oh, it's so delicious. Let me give you a close-up. We love our close-ups here, don't we? Even if it doesn't focus. So yeah, Skeindeer, you guys, really underestimated. So another sweater quantities there. Now I swear we're getting to the end of this, I promise ish, but I have one last pile, and this is a complete Katie enabling, because she, of inside number 23, she's showed me Laxton's yarn that she's bought and told me how incredibly cheap it was, and I couldn't believe it. And it was BFL Masham mix. So these are the people who are making the BFL Masham blends that you see Handar is using, and ooh, it was cheap. I think it was $4.50 per skein or something. I basically went there and all the 4-ply was gone, unfortunately, but then again I had the Knitting Goddess yarn in that base, so that was fine. I just pointed at the basket with the DK Masham BFL blends and said, give me what you have left, and that was 8 skeins. I wasn't really thinking, I was like, I need them all, so I have probably more than I need. So this is what I got. So I think this is going to be my hap. I was going to look for some hap yarn, and I think, you know what, this might not be the super light Shetland yarn that I would normally have used, but it's going to be so nice and soft and something to wrap myself up in here in maybe a bit of a chilly summer night. So I got 8 lovely skeins, so it's nearly 2,000 meters, so I'm thinking maybe this is going to be Kate Davis Modern Dye. I have been looking at Hansel by Gudrun Johnston, but they look very similar to me, and I don't know if it's worth paying for that when I already have that of Kate Davis. It would be nice to have them to compare though, if they're constructed the same way, if I can make one look like the other. Anyway, got these undyed. I mean, they sell them so you're supposed to dye them, but I think this is going to look really nice in the usual sort of hap feathers and fan type knitting. So I don't think I'm going to dye them. But if I do decide to dye whatever I have left, I do have a bunch of chopped up avocado stones in the freezer. So I might actually have a go at dye, just for fun. I'm not going to stop being a dye, but it will be cool to try, just see what the fuss is all about. So that was all I got for the festival. It is crazy. It's covering all of my bed. Let me just show you. It is insane. It's absolutely, you can't defend this kind of shopping decision. Is my camera steady? And I'm not going to. I think, you know, next year I'll probably go, and I'm probably going to be less like this. Please remind me that I said that. I think this is an effect of having been there for the first time. So the goal is just going to be to knit up all of this until next year and then be a bit calmer. Try not to be that crazy. and not that easy to just make an impression on. But I did stop by Cathy's Knits once more after the festival on my way back to the house, and I got these lovely purple Jameson & Smith's lace yarn, because I needed purple to go with my Ursula and I hadn't been able to find that with Jameson's Ultra. I don't know how I feel about these because they're very vibrant. It's like Woolmiser purple. So let's compare. So how do you feel? Is this going to go together? It doesn't pop too much, does it? Just show it in different light. It is stronger than the others, but it might be okay. It might be. I think you'll be fine. So yes, I had a second visit at Cathy's Knits. It's just such a lovely shop. I am such a fan. And for the rest of the day I was just really tired, so I just went over to, because basically us loop knitters, we shared 2 houses, so I just went over to the other house and was like half asleep knitting this shawl, which I'll get back to. But yeah, I was just so exhausted, but I had a really good time. I am awfully sorry I haven't really been filming much. I'm gonna try to include, if I haven't already, I'm going to try to include some of the footage I have from the market at the end of the video. We'll see when I get down to editing. But yes, me and the loop knitters I was sharing house with, we went out for breakfast, for second breakfast for me. And after that went back to Cathy's Knits because they hadn't been and I was recommending it so much, so we did that. And just as we were about to leave, I had sort of persuaded myself to buy yarn, and they were heading out the door, and in the door came Grace and Vero and Katie. So I was like, okay, goodbye, I'll see you later. Hello friends. Well, like, I felt so happy to be able to see at least some of the people I had been hanging out with at the festival, because I just left without saying goodbye because I was so tired. Me and Grace just went on the bus and said goodbye to each other. So yeah, that was just really nice. So I got 2 skeins. There should be a video of me picking up these 2 lovelies. Probably on Vero's channel, possibly Katie's. I don't remember who filmed what, but yeah. I literally just looked really shocked that they just walked into the shop, because it was not planned. I didn't expect to see anyone again for what, you know, next year. So that was pretty cool. So I got these, and yeah, my color and this. So this is JC Rennie. I did get some JC Rennie after all, and it's their super soft 4-ply, which has a meterage of 246 meters. So I think it's comparable to the lamb's wool, the Norwegian lamb's wool I really love. So I'm probably looking at more mittens, let's be real. And that's it, I promise. That's all I had purchased, there's no more. So after that we just walked around Edinburgh. I was dragging my heavy suitcase behind me, and they all like very kindly offered to carry it for me, which I'm super grateful because I was so tired. I was like dropping my suitcase all the time. It was horrible. Eventually we sat down at the pub, had some food, knitting, it was lovely, and finally I just went on to the train up to Perth, where I was going to see a friend of mine who lives in Crieff. I did vlog a little bit from the pub, so I'm just gonna put that here. So I'm now in a pub in Edinburgh, and it's been like days since I picked up this camera, so I'm doing well. And now we have just eaten, and today's the day that we leave. So I'm going south, I'm going north, I'm staying in Scotland for a couple of days more. But for now we are sitting in the pub and we are knitting. This is Vero and Katie and Grace and another Katie. So yeah, we're just like using our last bits of energy after the yarn festival on some knitting and chatting. So I shall speak to you later, and hopefully this whole vlogging thing is gonna become something coherent. But yeah, my stay in Crieff, I think I really needed that. Just having my friend Wendy just cook for me for 2 days and cuddling her crazy lovely cats. I say they're crazy, they're not crazy, they're like dogs. They just really love people and cuddles. They're not really shy. They just kind of go, oh, fluff balls, oh, you're so cute. I'm gonna put in a picture. Pictures, I don't know. So I just left there yesterday. I left around noon, and then I was back in Edinburgh, where I went back to Cathy's Knits again because I'd forgotten my coat. So luckily the shop was open still, and I got my coat, and today it is Wednesday, and you might be viewing this on Thursday or later, and I'm still feeling very knackered after the whole week, but I am here, I am awake, I'm able to talk, sort of. So I'm sorry this vlog is going to be a bit longer than the usual ones. I think it will be anyway. Thank you so much for watching. I have one more thing I want to cover first, because I haven't really been talking about the usual, you know, works in progress. So let's just do that. I've been working on this shawl throughout the week and during the train ride. Maybe an hour before I was arriving at King's Cross, I ripped it out. So this is the Lovely Leaf shawl by Sticky Lisa. It has been such a huge fad in Norway, and I decided to do some pattern modifications where I basically omitted the increases on the wrong side, because I don't like crescent shapes and I thought it would be long enough still, but it wasn't. When I put it around my neck and around on the other side, it was stopping right here, and I wanted to go down here. So I'm gonna do maybe half the wrong side increases and some also of the others. Like, that doesn't make any sense, but for me I think that will give the length that I want. So much work undone. I'm gonna put in a picture here of the shawl that I had made, and this is what I have now. So it's back on the needles. It's the wrong side, it's the right side. You know how I am with showing you the wrong side. So definitely more of a crescent this time around, and I think I'm just gonna have to deal. So the yarn I'm using, I said it was enough yarn, actually it's not entirely true. I am using Selbu, which is a new yarn from Hillesvåg. It's a yarn you can pretty much only get in Norway as far as I'm aware. You might be lucky to get ordered online. So yeah, that's what I got in the mail when I arrived home, because Mom has sent me another skein, because I need another skein to finish the shawl. So this is what it looks like when it's still all hanged up. So I love this. It's the Norwegian fur wool sheep, as the loosely translated name. I just love it. I love this color. This color is everything. I keep saying that, but it's true for these colors that I have covered today. So yeah, I have also been working on my second sock for the sock pattern I'm aiming to publish. I'm hoping to have it published next week. I'm not making any promises. And again, I want to thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much if you came and said hello to me during the festival. I am sorry if I looked a bit out of it. I kind of was, and I wasn't really expecting anyone to be like, oh, hello, Skeindeer, but there were so many. And thank you so much. I feel like I should have mentioned that throughout the video now, because that was like the one impression I'm kind of left with. And yeah, thank you for making this such a lovely week. Thank you to everybody I've mentioned, and to everybody I haven't mentioned. I don't have any words to describe how awesome this week has been. So I'm just gonna wrap it up, and hopefully we will all keep in touch. I think it's so nice to kind of find your own herd of crazy knitters. So, oh, could go on and on and on. I should wrap it up. So I hope you will have had a lovely week, whether you spent it at Edinburgh or elsewhere, and I hope you will have a lovely week until I see you next time. Bye!